Good morning, fellow baseball whale lifers. How you all doing? Today, for our Facebook group post on our YouTube group post, is going to be covering the topic of greatest pinch hitters of all time. My thoughts, your thoughts, and the general consensus. I'm a little biased when it comes to pinch hitters, being a Met fan all these years. So, what I may consider the best pinch hitter may not be record-wise. But I always enjoyed these folks when they did come up and pinch hit. So let me give you my top three. The first one that I fell in love with was Eddie Cranepool. He was the pinch hitter deluxe for the Mets when they were very bad in the late 70s. Steady Eddie was no longer in the field every day, but he did have a left-handed bat with pop. And because he had lineage to the 69 and 73 teams, he was a fan favorite. He was with the organization since 62. And whenever he came up to the plate, the fans loved it. He'd always get a big ovation. And that's the beauty of pinch hitters. It's the build-up to the pinch hitter coming up to the plate. And during a regular game when he's up 4 at-bats, there's not much of a anticipation and crowd buildup. But when you're a pinch hitter coming in for the pinch hitter in a tight situation, the fans love you tenfold. And that's the one thing that's going to be missing, I guess, when both leagues go to the designated hitter. Looks like the National League will still have the pitchers batting this year, so there'll probably be pitchers batting this year. But the pinch hitter deluxe will probably be a dying breed. So this may be one of the last few years it's even a topic. In a few years, we'll just be going back into the history books and talking about, remember pinch hitters. But Eddie was one of my favorites. The other one was Rusty Staub, and he was, in his second go-around with the Mets, almost like the designated pinch hitter. He had that one at-bat every game where he'd come up, and the crowd loved Rusty. I think they loved him more as a pinch hitter the second time around than they did as an everyday player his first time around with the Mets. And I think he had or has the streak for most consecutive pinch hits. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be like 7 or 8 games. And again, the Mets weren't that good when he was the pinch hitter, but he was the highlight of the game when he did come up, and he was fun. Then the Mets had Lenny Harris, who not only is one of the best Met pitch hitters, but probably one of the best in baseball history. And people don't remember the great pinch hitters like they should, like other great role players. But Lenny was one of the best at what he did. And I always admired Lenny. Now, I'm going to run down maybe 10 players who were outstanding pinch hitters, and you may or may not remember them as being such, but I can give you some numbers to back it up. And let's start now. I got these hidden away somewhere, and I'll go with the first one, which is Harold Baines. And as you know, Harold was a great player regardless. I know some doubt whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame or not. That's up for debate, but that's not the question here. He was a good hitter. He was one of the best hitters during his playing days. And people forget that he was a pinch hitter deluxe too. He had 270 plate appearances as a pinch hitter and had a batting average of 316, on base percentage of 380, and a 480 slugging percentage. So those are pretty good numbers in a pinch hitting role. So Harold could do it all, even as a pinch hitter. So hats off to him. I don't know if you guys remember Dave Hansen. He had 423 pinch hit appearances. That's a lot. In 2000, he set a single season record with 7 pinch home runs. That is a lot, my friends. That's a weapon coming off the bench. And the next year, that was tied by Craig Wilson. He's 4th all-time in pinch hit appearances and 6th in hits. He had a 281 career batting average as a pinch hitter, 388 on base percentage, and 433 slugging percentage with 13 home runs and 60 RBIs. Not too bad. You put that together as a full season, and he was all right, Dave Hansen. Certainly he was an everyday player. He could pinch hit. And who remembers Merv Raymond? He was with those Oriole teams that were some of the best ever. And he was a big farm prospect, big top prospect in the Orioles system, and he could rake it. But on that team, it was tough to break through. He had a 422 on base percentage as a pinch hitter. And that is the all-time leader among pinch hitters with 200 plate appearances in baseball. In 1977, he drew 16 pinch walks with a 463 on-base percentage. So when he came up as a pinch hitter, sometimes folks just didn't want to face him. And who remembers Stretch Willie McCovey? Willie was feared. I remember as a kid, I'd say, oh my God, I wouldn't want to be playing second base or first base with him up at the plate. I'd fear for my life and my family jewels. But he did hit 16 pitch-in home runs, including a record-tying 3 grand slams. Nothing more exciting than a pinch-hit grand slam. And his slugging percentage was .490, and his OPS was .848, and they're the second highest among players with that many pinch-hit chances. So Willie could do it in the pinch as well as an everyday player. Matt Stairs, the Canadian Matt Stairs, loved by all. He had 23 of his 265 career home runs as a pinch hitter. Not too shabby. And between the ages of 38 and 42, he had 15 pinch hit home runs. And this one doesn't count in his pinch hit totals, but he hit the go-ahead 2-run blast in right field bleachers at Dodger Stadium that lifted the Phillies to victory in Game 4 of the 2008 NLCS Series. Who remembers that? Do you? Be honest. Jerry Lynch was another great pinch hitter. You may not be that familiar with Jerry Lynch. He played a little bit further back. But in 1961, he had one hell of a year as a pinch hitter, and he led the Reds to the National League Championship with his contributions. In 59 appearances, he batted .404 with a .525 on-base percentage and .851 slugging percentage with 12 walks, 4 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs, and a record 25 RBIs. Wow. Woo. That is good. Way to go, Jerry. That one was for the ages. And here, next up is Manny Mota. Let me tell you a little Manny Mota story. When I was a kid, I was a big Stratomatic player. I loved playing Stratomatic. And I remember in 1973, I think Manny Mota used to bat at .388. Maybe he had like 100 at-bats. But when I had the Dodgers and I needed a big one, I put him in there to get my 4 at-bats to pad that lineup with his .388 average. So if I needed a win, I put his .388 pinch hitting batting average into the lineup. I know. You guys who are strict about your Stratomatic ethics. I did what I had to do to win. Let's put it that way. But as far as Manny concerned, he is the record holder for career pinch for more than 20. He had the record for career pinch hits for more than 20 years, and he still ranks third in that category with a 300 batting average. So that 300 batting average is the best in history for players with at least 350 chances, and he batted .327 as a pinch hitter throughout the 70s. And then there's Smokey Burgess. Smokey had 146 pinch hit RBIs and 31 more than any other player. So Smokey could knock him in. He had 6 seasons of 10 or more RBIs in a season. And in 65, he drove in 24 runs as a pinch hitter, just one off the single season record. He was a 6-time All-Star catcher. He had the record for pinch hits with 145 when he retired in 1967. So Smokey had a well-rounded career, and even when he wasn't an everyday player, he did the job as a pinch hitter. Then there's Cliff Johnson, Goose Gossage's favorite baseball player. They were shower buddies. Well, maybe that's too much information. Maybe you'll interpret that the wrong way. But no player has pinch hit 300 times, came close to Johnson's 876 OPS, which he compiled from 72 to 86. That is amazing, the OPS of 876. His pinch hit 20 home runs stood as the record for 24 years after his retirement. So there was a pinch hitter deluxe in Cliff Johnson. As I mentioned before, one of my other favorites was Lenny Harris. Lenny, I consider, and it looks like historians also consider Lenny to be the best ever, as he collected 84 more plate appearances and 37 more hits in that role than any other player. over an 18-year career, never getting more than 333 appearances in a season from 93 to 95, 2005. So he wasn't an everyday player, but he made his mark as a pinch hitter. So he was a good utility player and even a way better pinch hitter. And on October 7, 2001, he broke Manny Mota's all-time record with his 151st pinch hit. So that kind of sums up the 10 best pinch hitters of all time. Now, let me just scroll through some of the guys that you guys chose. And you guys came up some good ones, brought up some good memories. Rich D'Ambrosio mentions Greg Gross. He was a slap him, he can hit him anywhere player. And he was a good pinch hitter. John Weigel brings up one of my favorites too, is a Ned Franco. He hit some huge bombs as a pitch hitter. I remember he beat the Yankees back when the Subway Series was really going big in New York. Won a game there. And then Luis Sojo. Yeah. He came through with some big ones. Ronald Robinson's Edgar Martinez. I don't remember Edgar per se as much of a pinch hitter. I know a designated hitter, but he may have been a good pinch hitter. So I'll take Ronald's word for that. David Handcap says Gates Brown. Yes, Gates was a pinch hitter deluxe for those Tiger teams in the late 60s. And that's how I remember him actually as a pinch hitter. So I think Gates kind of made his mark as a pinch hitter. And then we got Matt Stairs, a lot of Manny Motas, a lot of Matt Stairs. James Porter says Del Unser, that good left-handed bat coming off the bench. I remember Del. Robert Rosa says Greg Bird. I guess Greg was a pinch hitter, so that's somewhat with the Yankees. I know he's trying to hook on with another team this year, and I can't remember who it is, but there was a guy with unlimited potential, and injuries just hurt him severely. Tommy McNally says Bernie Carbo. Bernie was a solid bat. A lot of Rusties, a lot of Matt Stairs again. Terry Crowley. Yes, I remember him, another Oriole in the Merv Raymond era. He was the left-handed complement to Merv. Terry could pitch it too. Very good choice. He's mentioned again a few times. Manny Mota and Rusty, they're running rampant here. Vernon Bailey says Horace Clark or Charlie Spikes. Rob Scott says Pat Tabler. I think Pat Tabler was the guy who always came through in the clutch when the bases were loaded, as I recall. I'd have to do more research on that. Travis Fish says Jim Thome. I guess Jim came through a few times as a pinch hitter, even though I guess mostly he was a regular day player. Kirk Gibson, and why not? Joe Ryan mentions the fact he had one of the greatest pinch hits ever against Dennis Eckersley. Good point. Vic Davalillo. I remember Vic. Vic was the left-handed complement to Manny Mota in the Dodger days. It's funny how these things work out. Bruce E. Monahan says Jim Leyritz. Floyd Lark says Jorge Orta. Yes, I remember Jorge. Not much of a glove, but he could hit, and I'm sure he came through with some big hits. Floyd Lark says Oscar Gamble. Who didn't like Oscar? His batting stance, his afro, and those pops to the short porch in Yankee Stadium. Greg Gross, Manny Harris, Manny Mota, a lot of repeats. Matty Alou, another swap hitter who can come through. And that was mentioned by Steve Markitz. And again, a lot of Smokey Burgess, a lot of Greg Grosses, Smokey, Rusty, Louis Soho, Matt Stairs, Gates Brown, Matt Stairs. So we have running themes. Seems like Matt Stairs, Manny Mota, Rusty Staub. Those were your popular choices. So I hope you love this little synopsis of the greatest pinch hitters of all time. I know I did. And that's our Facebook group post today. And remember, there's other content on the Baseball Way of Life YouTube channel. For instance, today I'm beginning the first of 30 team reviews. We have the Pirate team review up and running there. So if you do have a free moment, give that a shot at the YouTube channel. And you can always subscribe by clicking subscribe down below. If you like the video, hit like. If you dislike it, click dislike. Put in comments, negative comment or a positive comment. I can handle them all. And I take positives as a pat on the back. Doesn't mean I get a big head negative. I'm going to try and improve in any way I can because I'm kind of new to this. So again, thanks for all your support. Thanks for being a member of the group. Have a great day. Check back on the YouTube channel for other updates during the day. And I'll talk to you tomorrow and see you on the group site. Take care, guys. Have a great day.